Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are on that sweet CEDH game plan. This was a game we played a few months ago, and it was a good example on why you always need to be wary in a game of CEDH. Games can be decided in a single moment, almost out of the blue. But before I get into that, the ever fun announcement sections. Hey guys, unfortunately no one seemed to be able to guess the correct card on Twitter this week, but it was a lithoform engine. For those that don't know, we run a weekly Twitter game to see who can guess the card correctly, and whoever does gets a shout out on the next video. Also, if you ever wanted to play a game of Commander with us, you're in luck. With our recent boost in subs, we really wanted to interact more with this budding community. So if you're interested in playing with us, just post in the comments what deck you'd want to play, and we'll select one at random to join us in a video. And even if you're not selected, come join us on our Discord, as we often let people know when we play and would love to play with someone new. But now time for that sweet intro. Alright, block there, kill that. Oh, that is trample. Guess I'm just dead on board. Well, who's playing today? Well, starting off, we have Jimmy piloting Tymna Thrasios. This now defunct boogeyman of the format. This deck has transitioned from a Flash Hulk list to more of a mid-range build, aiming to win off Thasos Consultation while running a decent package of stacks and counterspells to keep his opponents at bay. Second up is Porfs, who is running his favorite deck, Brago, King Eternal. This Azorius stacks deck aims to utilize lots of fast mana and stacks pieces to slow his opponents down, while relying on Brago to reset his fast mana and gain advantage. But if this deck looks interesting, check out our video deck tech, as we got Brago himself to explain the power he wields. Although he's not the fastest speaker, so I suggest playing it at a faster speed. In the third spot, we have Ifon, who's piloting a new commander to the channel. Tatyova is an all-star legendary that does amazing things with just playing lands. This Simic ramp deck leverages Taty's amazing ability to draw lots of cards off simply playing lands. The win con, other than just outvaluing his opponents, is infinite turns, with Mystical Sanctuary, a Time Walk, and trade routes, or a few other options. And bringing up the rear is Lutz, who's brought Najeela. This is a 5-color Thassa consultation list that backdoors into an infinite creatures and combats combo with Najeela, who, even if just left alone, can amass a horde of warriors to take their opponents out. But without further ado, let's get on to the gameplay. Jimmy starts the game with a Forest, and every commander's favorite turn 1. He casts a Sol Ring, but not done yet, finishes his turn with an Arcane Signet. Or follows it up with a Command Tower into a Mystic Remora, and in response, Jimmy casts a Worldly Tutor, finding Seedborn Muse to put on top, with Porf passing after that. On Ifon's turn, he plays a Forest and then casts a Mana Crypt. Porf draws off the Mystic Remora, and taps out and pays 2 life to cast the Phyrexian Metamorph, enters as a copy of Jimmy's Sol Ring. Lutz starts his turn by playing a Forbidden Orchard and uses it to cast a Birds of Paradise. He gives the Spirit Token to Ifon and passes after that. Jimmy goes for a speedy turn as he just plays a Swamp and then casts Keenan, and passes after that. Porf pays for his fish, and on his first main, he plays and cracks a Flooded Strand to find a snow-covered island. Now finally having access to snow mana, he plays an Arkham's Astrolabe, draws on the ETB, and passes after that. Ifon takes 3 from his Mana Crypt, and on his main phase, he plays an island, and he taps out to cast his commander, Tatyova, but is done after that. Lutz starts off with a Mana Crypt of his own, but doesn't pay the tax, and Porf draws a card. He then casts his commander, Najeela, and finally he taps the Forbidden Orchard, giving the spirit to Ifon, and casts an Elvish Mystic, but passes after that. Jimmy on his turn finally casts the tutored Seedborn Muse. He follows it up with an Azorius Signet, but gives Porfs another card off the fish. Just wanting to untap his mana, Jimmy ends his turn after that. Porf and Jimmy untap, and Porf starts his turn off by letting the Remora go. On his first main, he plays a Glacial Fortress, and then a Talisman of Progress, but has nothing else and passes. With Jimmy activating Kinnan on his end step, he flips into a Thassa's Oracle.
Oh my god, do you have
and cast Consultation.
Oh, awesome.
Thankfully for the table, Porf has an answer. He pays 2 life to cast a Mental Misstep.
Oh, yes!
That was awesome, though. I have to say, I was pretty... That was awesome.
The stack resolves and the game keeps going. Ifon untaps with Jimmy copying him as well thanks to Seedborn, with Ifon luckily winning his mana crypt trigger. He plays a Scalding Tarn, gaining 1 off the Tati, then taps 1 for a Sakura Tribe Scout, and Jimmy activates Keenan in response, but fails to find. Ifon then cracks his Scalding Tarn to find a tropical island, gaining 1 and drawing another card from his commander, but passes after that. Both Lutz and Jimmy untap as Lutz loses another mana crypt trigger. He heads straight to combat and swings Najeela and the newly created warrior token at Porf, who simply takes 4. Lutz is done after that, and at his end step, Jimmy activates Kinnan. In response, Ifon casts a Force of Vigor, discarding a Sky Shroud Ranger to blow up Jimmy's Soul Ring and Arcane Signet. The force resolves, and Jimmy reveals a Hull Breacher from the Kinnan trigger. Jimmy starts off his turn by playing a Swamp and then his commander Tymna, and then moves to combat. He attacks Lutz with Kinnan and Porf with the Seedborn Muse and Oracle. They both take the hit, and after combat, Jimmy pays 2 life to the Tymna trigger to draw 2 cards, but is done after that. Both Porf and Jimmy untap. On his main phase, he plays a Sea of Clouds, then Porf taps 2 for an Arcane Signet, and then 4 for a Supreme Verdict to wipe the board clean. In response to the wipe, Lutz casts an Eladamri's Call, finding a Hull Breacher, and then floats 3 mana. The Verdict resolves, and before the mana empties, Lutz casts the Hull Breacher, but Ifon mana drains the Breacher to Lutz's disappointment. Ifon untaps and then takes 3 from the mana crypt. He draws and immediately taps to play Tatyova, using the extra mana from the mana drain. He resolves and he plays a Ghost Quarter, triggering the Tati to draw and gain 1 health. He then Ghost Quarters his own forest to get another Tatyova trigger. He finds an island and then passes the turn to Lutz. Lutz draws and forgets to roll for Crypt, as usual. He plays a Windswept Heath and then is reminded by Porfs and rolls. And for his negligence, the God of Luck has him take 3. Lutz then cracks the fetch, getting a tropical island, but with nothing else to do, he passes. Jimmy starts the turn off by playing and cracking a Scalding Tarn, finds an Underground Sea, and then casts a Demir Signet into a Thrasios. Passing the turn to Porfs. Porf plays a Soul Ring, and for some odd reason, the table now decides that Porf is a threat. But Porf doubles down and plays a Brago, passing after that. Ifon finally wins a Crypt trigger and then plays a Prismatic Vista. He holds priority on Tatyova trigger and cracks the Vista in response, with Lutz responding with a Tainted Pact, giving Ifon the Spirit token. Ifon, not having any of it, immediately shoots back with a Dispel, and after some consideration, Lutz decides to let it go. The stack clears and Ifon finds a forest, getting another Tati trigger. He follows this up with a Merchant Scroll, finding a Ghostly Fligger, which he then casts, leaving 1 mana floating. He targets his tropical island and an island he controls, but Lutz counterspells with a Flusterstorm. But it turns out this was all bait, so he could cast a Summer Bloom for the sweetest possible value. Lutz and Jimmy pass priority, but Porf counters with a Muddle the Mixture. Ifon ends the turn by attacking Jimmy for 3 and passes. Lutz takes 3 from the crypt, and still in his upkeep, he casts a Mystical Tutor. It resolves and Lutz scours through his deck. Unfortunately for him, after some time, he realizes he really has no outs or presence in the game, and decides to scoop at sorcery speed during his turn. The game goes on, and Jimmy starts his turn. Unfortunately, we lost Jimmy's feed for his turn, but it'll be back to normal by Porf's turn. He plays a Misty Rainforest and cracks it for a tropical island, but passes after that. Porf takes some time to think and decides to just go for it by casting a Lithoform Engine. Jimmy responds with a Thrasios activation to try and find something to stop the combo piece, but reveals a Chromox after scrying 1 to the bottom. Porf then moves to combat and swings Brago at Ifon, which starts the whole combo line, which you can learn about in the deck primer linked in the corner. But enough of the shameless plugging. Long story short, Porf gets infinite mana, draws, and ETBs during combat. He utilizes Venser's Shaper's Savant to bounce everyone's permanents, including lands, and wins by combat in the next 2 or 3 turns with Tezzeret the Seeker Ultimate, while everyone else is left with nothing, while he holds a hand full of counter magic. Game review. Well, maybe Porf was a threat. It's always difficult to judge how harsh you need to be against a combo player, especially when there are so many different combos. Porf definitely did not present much of a threat until he went off, which was good threat mitigation on his part, but can be frustrating when it looks like someone just lucked into a win out of nowhere. But that's the name of the game in CDH. Just like how Jimmy could have won off Thassa out of nowhere if Ports didn't have the counterspell for it. It's just the price we pay for playing with such power. But question for the viewer, what's your favorite combo? I know currently Thassa's consultation is probably the strongest right now, but to me, I always remember back to when I first started playing, and all I wanted to do was drain people out with Exquisite Blood and Sanguine Bond in my Alloro modified precon. But whatever combo you think is sweet, let me know in the comments down below. Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I just wanted to let you know that we have a TCG affiliate link, and if you ever see a card you want to try or are inspired to brew something new, use our link when purchasing and we'll receive a small portion of the sale. This is a great way to support the channel, and if you enjoyed the gameplay, please leave a like and subscribe, as it really helps us keep making videos. And remember, never give up, even if you're dead on board. I'll see you guys later.